Disney World's best burgers, best desserts, best breakfast, and everything else in between. Today's video is all about the best food in Disney World, so don't watch this one hungry or else you're liable to drool all over the floor, and we're sorry about that. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and we're on an all-you-can-eat mission today to gobble up the best foods across all of Disney World. These are the foods that we think will be more than worth your time, your money, and stomach space, and will have you craving them even after your vacation comes to an end. So tie on your bib and grab a fork and spoon, because we gotta get ready to chow down. Now, why should I wait until later on in the video to talk about my all-time favorite subject when I can just continue things on a super high note right now? Let's talk about cheese. Cheese is abundant in Disney World, which is great news for me and all you other cheese lovers out there. So let's talk about a few of my all-time favorite cheesy options you can get right now. Over at Skipper Canteen and Magic Kingdom, you can usually grab the Brazilian cheese bread, that pão de queijo, off the restaurant's secret menu. Yep, that's right. Skipper Canteen has a secret menu with items you won't find on the regular everyday menu. Just ask your Skipper server about it to see what hush-hush items are available during your visit. More often than not, the pão de queijo should be available to order, though it's not necessarily guaranteed. This is a secret menu, that's the point. But what's so special about this off-menu bread? Well, it's soft and cheesy and serve the chimichurri cream cheese to add an extra layer of cheesiness to the whole appetizer. La Hacienda de San Angel in Epcot has an under-the-radar cheesy dip, the queso fundido, and this consists of melted cheese with chorizo, peppers, onions, and avocado mousse served with flour tortillas. Honestly, I could make this a meal in and of itself if no one wanted to share it with me, because the thick cheese and tortilla combo make this app a hearty one, but in the best, cheesiest way possible. Speaking of cheese apps, if you hop on over to Le Cellier Steakhouse in Epcot, you're going to find that iconic Canadian cheddar cheese soup on the appetizer menu, which has hints of smoky bacon and beer and so much cheese. Soup may not be your go-to option when you're visiting the parks during the summer, but the good news about ordering the soup at Le Cellier is that the restaurant is indoors and in the nice chilly AC, so you don't have to eat something hot while standing in the heat, which could be a recipe for disaster. And Disney Springs also has a superb bacon cheese snack, which you'll find over at Cooks of Dublin. The Dubliner Irish cheese and bacon dip is just a hearty cup of cheesy, gooey, bacony goodness. The cheese has a thicker consistency to it than my beloved plastic cheese that you can pick up for $1 at select quick services. Not saying that's a good or bad thing though. I love them both equally. You just have to switch your brain gears over to be okay with different cheesy textures without being put off by one or the other if you're expecting something else. Now, the Dubliner Irish cheese also has a slight tang and almost sourish note to it, which we really enjoy, but may not be your favorite again if you're more used to the golden plastic stuff. Continuing on in Disney Springs, I gotta direct your attention to Wine Bar George for one of the most unique cheese tasting experiences property-wide, the Saganaki on Fire. Yep, flaming cheese is actually one of the best things ever in my eyes, because you know that stuff's gonna be fresh and hot and a little bit charred when you finally bite into it. The Saganaki on Fire is Vlahortiri cheese. It's very hard to say. Vlahortiri. Vlahotiri, Vlahortiri cheese that your server sprinkles with metaxa, which is a Greek liqueur, before setting it ablaze. Now, as it's getting all crispy and delicious on the outside, your server will encourage you to squeeze fresh lemon juice over the top, or they will squeeze fresh lemon juice over the top sometimes if they don't trust you with fire, which they usually don't me. Anyway, the cheese on fire also comes with a side of crostini for gooey, cheesy dipping purposes. You may need a couple extra crostini, just a heads up. I could talk cheese with you all day, but I think we're going to wrap up this point with one final cheese option that you're absolutely going to have to get if you love yourself, and that's the house-made mac and cheese over at Gasparilla Island Grill in the Grand Floridian Resort. I know we haven't mentioned this one in a while, have we? Now, this mac and cheese is the best of the best, which is saying a lot, I'm aware, since Disney does a lot of really good mac and cheese. Don't worry, we're going to talk about a bunch more later. But only at the Gasparilla Quick Service will you find a mac and cheese quite this creamy. It's thick, it's got a ton of real cream in it, and somewhere within that globby cocoon of cheese are heaps of classic elbow macaroni. It's the ultimate comfort food, and I find myself getting real sad if I make a trip out to Disney and don't at least order it once while I'm there. All right, there's just something extra special about eating a meal that soothes your soul, especially in Disney World. It is time to talk comfort food. Disney's gotten those warm, hearty, and super comforting foods down to a science. So if you're looking for the best of the best, I'm going to give you the best of the best. This is my kind of food, meat and potatoes. I love it. First up on the list of comforting delights, we've got the crema de elote from, once again, La Hacienda de San Angel in Epcot. Now, this appetizer is made with roasted corned bisque, queso fresco, and chili powder. So basically, it's a cheesy, slightly spicy creamed corn soup. And I'm still over the moon about it, even after all these years of ordering it. Now you jump across the World Showcase from Mexico and into the UK Pavilion, and you're going to find the ultimate dinner location for all things comfort food at Rose and Crown. It's got that British staple, bangers and mash, up for grabs, consisting of traditional English sausage with colcan and potatoes, mushroom, onion, and red wine demi. This one's just a straight up crowd pleaser. The sausage is juicy and super flavorful. The hearty gravy is salty and plentiful. The potatoes are thick and fluffy, and while yes, this is a heavy meal for a theme park day, it's also one of the ultimate comfort dishes that may end up being the perfect way to wrap up your time in Epcot. And how dare I leave this comfort favorite of mine for last? Because it's one you can hear me rave about over and over and over again, and I can't stop, won't stop. The prime rib sliders at the Cruise Cup Lounge in Disney's Yacht Club come with 2 sandwiches stuffed with sliced prime rib meat, which would have been good enough as it is, but then Disney goes and accompanies these things with a side of house-made chips and cups of horseradish cream and au jus, meaning they've basically created the perfect sandwich that just got down on one knee and proposed to me, and I said yes. Okay, let's talk breakfast. You know what they say, the early bird gets the churro Mickey waffles. What do you mean that's not a saying? Have I been misquoting that all these years? That's embarrassing, but I'm going to establish it right now. Since we're on the topic, let's talk about those churro Mickey waffles, along with other epic morning grub offerings. Over at the Crystal Palace inside Magic Kingdom, you're going to find a breakfast buffet with lots of different offerings, like blackberry streusel coffee cake and more savory signature breakfast lasagna. That's kind of the evolution of Pooh's kind of breakfast lasagna that it used to have there at Crystal Palace, for those of us who are very old and remember that. But the churro Mickey waffles are newer here, and that's what we keep filling and refilling our plates with. The cinnamon sugar crust gives this waffle an excellent crunch, and when you pair that with the fluffiness on the inside, you got yourself a real satisfying texture and flavor combo going on here. Just across the way over at Cinderella's Royal Table, you might not be able to pile your plates high with endless breakfast buffet offerings, but you will be able to dine on elevated brekkie cuisine inside Cindy's Castle, which might make it an even better option, depending on what you're looking for in a morning meal. To be honest, the team and I are actually bigger fans of Cinderella's Royal Table during breakfast time than we are during lunch or dinner. Not just because it's cheaper meaning you're still going to pay a hefty fee for this one, but it's not quite as hefty as you will later in the afternoon or when the menu switches over, but it also has some of our favorite breakfast offerings too, like the banana stuffed French toasts, stuffed with sweet cream cheese and bananas and drizzled with caramel sauce and served with a side of bacon. Quick note though about both Crystal Palace and Cinderella's Royal Table. If you can, try to make breakfast reservations for either of these locations before Magic Kingdom opens. Yep, that's totally a thing. Typically, both of these table services start up their days before the park does, meaning you can walk down an empty Main Street, USA, take pictures with Cinderella Castle with nobody else around you, and eat your breakfast before Magic Kingdom opens and brings in everybody else. That way, you can also finish up breakfast early and get back into the park when the morning crowds for the rides are still very manageable. All right, I've talked a lot about table service breakfasts, so how's about good quick service breakfasts that won't break the bank? Like the Quiche Lorraine, for instance, over at Les Halles Boulangerie Patisserie in Epcot. Quiche Lorraine is one of the most affordable yet filling options for a morning meal in any park. Seriously, you could buy 3 of these and you still wouldn't break $20. The quiche is made with ham and Gruyere, so it's a very simple execution that still makes for a great payoff. Very savory, very flavorful. It's a good sized portion and it's going to keep you full all throughout the morning with all of that protein. Over in Hollywood Studios at Woody's Lunchbox, we love chowing down on the regular tachos, usually served on the menu, nachos and tater tots. But again, if we're on the hunt for something affordable, filling, and savory in the morning, we're going to come this way for the breakfast bowl too. This is made out of a hearty portion of potato barrels, smothered in smoked brisket country gravy, scrambled eggs, and a sprinkling of green onions. Now you can find similar breakfast tacho bowls at other places around Disney too, like at select quick services in Animal Kingdom and at the Value Resort food courts. And we also just found them at Roaring Fork, but typically those morning tacho bowls will be served with scrambled eggs, cheese, and crumbled bacon, so it just depends on what you're more in the mood for, as well as where you're actually going to wind up in Disney World that day. Now, we briefly interrupt today's best food video to remind you that, hey, you can literally learn about all the best Disney World restaurants, and then some, when you pick up our DFB guidebook bundle over at dfbstore.com. This bundle is going to hook you up with all our current guidebooks, including our festival, snack, dining plan, and holiday guides too, so you can be set up for success no matter what time of year you're going. Not to mention, the guidebook bundle will also give you all these books for less than half the original price. And you can also use code YouTube to tack on literally another discount on top of the one that's already applied. We want you to get these resources, so we want them to be as obtainable and stress-free as possible. So if you buy these books and don't feel like we're giving you the resources you're looking for, we got a 100% money-back guarantee if you decide to return them within 30 days. No strings attached. That's how confident we are in the hard work we've put into these. We think you're going to love them. Now, this next category is a little weird. We're going to talk about best sampler options. I think samplers are a great way to spend your Disney World dollar because that way you get to try a bunch of things all at once. You don't necessarily have to choose just one item. You can try a bunch of them in smaller portions. Now, one of our all-time favorite things to get over at Chef Art Smith's Homecoming in Disney Springs is a little thing called the kitchen plate, which is an entree completely made up of your choice of 3 side dishes. And that's actually awesome because A, depending on which sides you choose, the kitchen plate's going to cost you less than ordering those 3 sides a la carte. And B, Homecoming's well known for its tasty side options, so you'll be able to choose from high-quality stuff like cheddar cheese drop biscuits, Mama's mac and cheese, which that portion is a full entree in and of itself, Southern green beans, sweet potato mashed skillet, Bradley's grits, and lots of others too. And what about if you can't decide on dessert after a nice Disney Springs meal? Well, Swirls on the Water has a rotating Dole Whip flight option, which features 3 sample-size portions of the kiosk's current Dole Whip flavors. Because Swirls on the Water switches out their flavors pretty regularly to keep up with the season, you'll always want to do a little research before making your way this direction to familiarize yourself with what's going to be on the Dole Whip tap during your visit. Now, let's wash all our Disney Springs samplers down with a sampler drink tray next over at the Coca-Cola Rooftop Bar. The Rooftop Bar actually has several ways you can try various Coca-Cola products in new, unique ways for one price point. First, you've got a mocktail flight where you can pick out any 3 mocktails currently featured on the menu and get sample-size versions of them. This includes mocktails like the Lavender Lemonade, the Watermelon Blast, and the Fresca Habanero Lime, just to name a few. Then there's the Tastes of the World option, where you can get one of 3 flights that feature a variety of international and/or unique Coca-Cola offerings. The Around the World tray is very similar to the free drink tasting experience you're going to find over at Club Cool in Epcot, only this is going to give you 16 different international sodas to try. And yep, one of those is Beverly, so watch out. The float tray, on the other hand, is going to give you 8 domestic flavors plus ice cream. We like to try the float trays featured around the holiday season for something even more unique. Last year, the holiday flavors flight featured Coca-Cola Cinnamon, Sprite Cranberry, and a gingerbread Coca-Cola float. You can also get a combo tray that combines both the float tray and the Around the World tray if you really can't make up your mind about what you want to try. Just make sure you got a group that's going to help you out with all those drinks, because that's a lot of sugary soda you're going to have to take on, and that's coming from me, a bona fide soda goblin. And finally, the Rooftop Bar also has a flight option for all you coffee fans out there. The Costa Coffee Cold Brew Flight, which comes with chocolate hazelnut cold brew, peanut butter chocolate cold brew, and a cold brew caramel float. Okay, friends, we have officially made it to Best Burger. Disney isn't always known for their super stellar burger options, and that's because several of those quick services across the parks have that standard like hockey puck burger option like you get from a high school cafeteria. Maybe just a little bit higher quality than that, but not much. So if you're on the hunt for a better than decent Disney burger, I've got 4 solid options for you. First up, the best of the best, the Stack Burger from Steakhouse 71 at Contemporary Resort. This is a signature blend of beef topped with pork belly, American cheese, lemon aioli, red onion, and house-made pickles, all on a brioche bun. Now the lemon aioli, that's key. Please don't take that off. Even if you're not a mayo fan, leave it on. Now this sounds fancy, topped with pork belly instead of bacon and some nifty citrusy mayonnaise and pickles. It didn't come out of a jar, but this is a roll up your sleeves, open your mouth as wide as you can kind of burger. The stack burger is super delicious. There's so much flavor here. Tastes a lot like a diner burger that's smashed on the griddle. You know, the ones you get a ton of salt and a little bit of grease, but in the best way possible. And of course, y'all know me by now. I'm absolutely in love with the waterfall of cheese pouring off of this one. Burger number 2, the Bison Burger from Geyser Point Bar and Grill at Wilderness Lodge. Now, this is a surprising one because usually bison is a less fatty meat and it doesn't have as much flavor as regular beef, but it's actually really, really good, and there's a lot of flavor in the rest of the burger too. This comes topped with bacon, sweet crispy onion straws, marionberry sauce, lettuce, tomato, and garlic aioli. It's also served with a side of crispy, lightly battered waffle fries. This bison patty is super juicy and not gamey, so there's a lot of flavor in this usually very lean meat. For some, there might even be too many flavors at play since you've got that sweet marionberry coupled with all the saltiness of the onion straws and bacon, and that garlic aioli adds that elevated texture and flavor. Now, we think the marionberry balances out the flavors and textures, but it is very unique and may not be your favorite if you're wanting a 100% savory burger through and through. Burger number 3, pretty much any burger from Deluxe Burger in Disney Springs. Now, this place boasts a bunch of gourmet hamburgers made of signature beef blend on fresh baked buns. Sometimes they'll have a limited time specialty burger too. If they have the French onion burger, definitely get it. All natural chicken and veggie burgers are also up for grabs here, as well as those hand-cut fries and their house-made dipping sauces. They tried to take those away, but they're back. This spot even has a mobile order option on the My Disney Experience app, so you can skip the line and get your food faster. And burger number 4, the signature burger from Three Bridges Bar and Grill at Coronado Springs. That's a dark horse, right? This massive burger comes with bacon marmalade, sun-dried tomato jam, smoked Gouda queso, crispy veggies, arugula, and smoked paprika fries. Now, this one means business, so you'll want to come here hungry and ready for a hearty meal. The highlight for me when it comes to this burger is the bacon marmalade and the sun-dried tomato jam, but that's because I think everything's just naturally better with a good sauce on top of it. Oh, and I love, of course, that Gouda queso, but that's probably a no-brainer because it's more cheesy goodness just in a different form. Queso is like the remix of plastic cheese. Watch out for this burger because it does get messy, so you're going to need to have a lot of napkins on hand to keep from becoming a cheesy, greasy, saucy mess. All right, from meat to carbs, let's use our noodle to find the best Disney noodles. If I want a good, and I mean really good, Italian-inspired meal on Disney World property, I'm actually not going to go to the Disney-owned parks or resorts, but I'm going to go over to the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin hotels and eat at Il Mulino. Now, Il Mulino has a spaghetti carbonara that I can't help dreaming about because it's that good, though really it's hard to go wrong with any of the pastas served at this signature dining location. The spaghetti carbonara is made with pancetta, cheese, and egg, and it's every bit as salty and buttery as I want it to be, making it a great dish for not just Italian food fans, but even for those who want to dine fancy without having to be too adventurous. Be careful though, this one's really rich. Even though my favorite Italian restaurant in all of Disney World isn't actually inside a Disney resort, that doesn't mean there aren't pastas I still adore across the Disney hotel restaurants too. That Sonoma goat cheese ravioli from California Grill at the Contemporary Resort is a prime example. Remember when they tried to take this away after COVID and they had to bring it back? Yep, absolutely. The goat cheese ravioli is part of the Market Inspirations or Starters options on the menu and is a single large ravioli packed with creamy and delicious goat cheese. Now, I'm not even a huge goat cheese fan. This is amazing. It's rich, and even though it's only one ravioli, it's a pretty solid portion to start off your meal. You also get dried mushrooms on the side, which oddly enough kind of taste like potato chips. Not complaining or anything, just a little unexpected. There are also regular mushrooms underneath the ravioli itself, which are very meaty and complement the al dente pasta nicely. Now, storybook dining at Artist Point with Snow White inside Wilderness Lodge is already one of my favorite character dining experiences, like ever, thanks to the Enchanted Forest atmosphere and rare characters. But what really sets this one over the edge for me is, of course, the prime rib that comes with a giant Yorkshire pudding as big as your face. But I also love the vegetarian option here. That's the Stroll Through Nature. Yep, it's literally called Stroll Through Nature, and it's a gnocchi dish. It's got a really rich, creamy sauce made complete with lots of asparagus, arugula, sage, leeks, and enough Parmesan to keep this cheese-loving AJ very, very happy. And of course, I can't talk about noodles without at least giving a little shout out to our long-standing favorite noodle dish, the Ohana noodles from Ohana at Polynesian Village Resort. The Ohana noodles are a sweet and savory and slightly crunchy because of the added cabbage side option provided by the Ohana restaurant. Because this is a family-style dining option, you can ask for noodle refills if you'd like, though this noodle freedom has gotten me into trouble in the past since I filled up on just noodles before all the main stuff arrived, and I'd probably do it again. And if you'd like to pay for just the Ohana noodles a la carte and skip paying for the whole all-you-care-to-enjoy dinner experience from Ohana, you can always see if these noodles are available to purchase over at the neighboring Tambu Lounge. They may not always be available over there, but usually after 4 p.m., you can get them. Heading on into best snacks. Really, AJ? Are we really going to try to tackle best snacks today? Okay, well, there are so many, and I mean so many snacks that I adore in Disney World. I'm going to give you my top 3 current favorite sweet options and top 3 current favorite savory options for the time being. And then I'm going to point you in the direction of where you can find even more epic snacks after this. And don't forget, we have tons of videos about snacks too, okay? All right, let's start with the sweet stuff first. Gonna backtrack into the France Pavilion at Epcot to snag one of my longtime favorites, the Croque Glace from l'Artisan de Glace. This is made of your choice of ice cream pressed between 2 brioche slices. Last time we went here, we chose to make ours with the caramel Fleur de Sel ice cream and caramel sauce and had absolutely zero regrets. Best choice ever. Once the ice cream and accompanying sauce is scooped onto the brioche, it's then heat pressed and served directly to you in wax paper, like a panini. The brioche bread tastes like a buttery sweet croissant, but still very soft and pillowy. Meanwhile, the ice cream and sauce just give it an extra level of sweetness and that hot-cold situation. Now, we've got a few more options over there at Artisan de Glace that you might want to try out as well. The Café Glace, for instance, made of an iced cappuccino with a scoop of ice cream and whipped cream with caramel sauce, or the adults-only ice cream martini that's doused with some booze, or the limited-time pumpkin ice cream you can pick up during spooky season. Now seriously, if you want a unique ice cream treat that'll hit the spot on a hot Orlando day, l'Artisan is the spot you need to be in. Outside of the parks, I've recently fallen head over heels for the Millionaire Shortbread from the basket at Wine Bar George. This is made of 3 different sweet layers, that buttery shortbread cookie, the caramel, really thick caramel, and that dark chocolate. Now, even though it's served cold, that good old Florida sun heats things up pretty quickly, so if you don't want your hands becoming a whole chocolatey mess while you partake, have a fork handy. The Millionaire Shortbread is rich and has all the flavors of a Twix candy bar with a little additional salt sprinkled on top, which I very much appreciate. But what I will say is that this shortbread is more than likely bigger than you're going to expect it to be. So either plan to share this one with a friend or have a storage container or Ziploc bag handy so you can store the leftovers and enjoy the rest when you're back in your hotel room. And now it's time for me to introduce you to a very new dessert friend of mine, the Cookie Croissant from Contempo Cafe. This is made with a crispy, flaky croissant topped with powdered sugar and milk chocolate, then drizzled and filled with chocolate chip cookie dough. As a big believer in underbaked cookies being a legitimate snack, this treat makes my heart and taste buds very happy. The cookie dough to flaky croissant ratio is a match made in baked good heaven, making it a good option for a sweet breakfast on the go or a nice little afternoon pick-me-up. Now, I'm only talking about one croissant here, but there are a handful of other Disney croissants that have come up recently, and I hope they stick around on the menus. Sassagoula Floatworks in Port Orleans French Quarter has an espresso croissant. A PB&J croissant is at the Everything Pop food court in Pop Century, so you'll want to check and see what's available during your next visit to your resort's quick service. But the croissant trend does not stop there. It seems Gaston has jumped on the croissant hype train lately and is now offering a creme brulee croissant over at Gaston's Tavern in Magic Kingdom. It's a crispy croissant dough filled with vanilla bean custard and has this caramelization on top that's sweet and sticky with a hint of char flavor, adding a nice texture to the croissant as a whole. Gaston knows how to make good snacks. Bad dude, great baker. And now it's time to shout out a few savory snacks. I'm actually going to stick around the Contempo Cafe for now because this place recently introduced another new snack item that really got the DFB team and me saying, okay, little quick service, we see you. These are the new chili cheese corn dog nuggets. Yep, classic nuggets that you usually find over at Casey's Corner in Magic Kingdom, but these have been leveled up with queso, mustard, green onions, and house-made chili. There's a lot going on here. While the toppings are plentiful across these corn dog nugs, the one key downside for this savory snack is that they aren't as crispy as they would be if you were to just order them by themselves. That being said, the chili queso combo doesn't completely compromise the integrity of the nugs, so you can still pick them up and pop them in your mouth if you don't mind your fingers getting a little chili cheesy in the process. So I'm also going to stick around Gaston's Tavern for this next savory snack too, because these two quick service locations are really coming in clutch with the good stuff lately. Along with the creme brulee croissant, Gaston has provided us with a new savory option called the ham and Gruyere tart, which is made with crispy croissant dough topped with ham and Gruyere and served with chips. Now, if you love flatbreads, this is like a croissant version of a flatbread. And if you have ever had a Flammekuche over in Germany or Switzerland, this is kind of the vibe. You've got that super creamy, cheesy sauce with the kind of bacony, hammy vibe and some onion, like they've got chives on this. Absolutely delicious. This is my favorite kind of quote unquote pizza ever. Now, the crust here is super soft, buttery, and flaky. The ham is savory and salty and adds the perfect chew. The melted Gruyere on top adds almost a fondue-ness to this. And there are the green onions that add that touch of tanginess and that extra flavor to the tart. Definitely a winner. Good job, Gaston. Now, it wouldn't feel right if I didn't throw another mac and cheese option out for you in this savory list. So if you're in Animal Kingdom and you want a snack that'll at least hold you over until your next big meal, the pulled pork mac and cheese from 8 Spoon Cafe is a solid option that'll keep you satisfied with a decent portion of thick, cheesy noodles topped with tender barbecue. You can also order the full version of this pulled pork mac and cheese dish over at Flame Tree Barbecue if you want to make it into a meal. By the way, we recently updated our free Best Snacks Guide of 2024, which you can grab today by scanning the QR code you see on the screen now, or by heading over to disneyfoodblog.com/bestsnacks after this. This guide will not only give you our current favorite snacky items, both sweet and savory, across all 4 Disney World parks, but it'll also show you where you can find each of these treats, so you'll never have to miss out on a potential new favorite snack. Yep, we got snack maps, and we love them. And if you want more snack guidance, we've got 2 best snacks of 2024 videos up on our channel now that you can click over to once we wrap up here. You will be a Disney Snack Pro if I have any say in this, mark my words. Okay, so if you can't decide whether you want something savory or sweet, how about both? Over at Westward Ho in Magic Kingdom, you can pick up a candied bacon skewer, which is a huge, thick piece of bacon with a candy coating, giving the whole thing a sweet and savory vibe. While the chewy texture might not be for everyone, especially those who prefer their bacon crispy to the point of being brittle, like my mom, she basically wants it burned, I will say the potato chips served on the side do help give back that extra layer of crunchy that you might be missing out on. By the way, the candied coating, that's not like a lollipop or something. It's just like a mapley kind of candied glaze. That's a better word for it. Now, if you want to talk cheesy donut sandwiches, let's head over to Disney Springs to Everglazed Donuts and Cold Brew. On the sandwich menu, you're going to find what's called the grilled cheese. Yep, it actually does have that many E's, which you can actually upgrade from having a sweet bun to having a donut bun instead. It's unique, it's novelty, it's definitely not for everybody, but if you're real big on combining savory, sweet ingredients to make something that actually tastes pretty delicious, this might be the hack you're looking for. Okay, how about something a little more tame, but still savory and sweet all the same? At Earl of Sandwich, also in Disney Springs, you can order one of our favorite sandwiches of all time, the Holiday Turkey Sandwich. Yep, this used to be just seasonal, but they brought it on the full-time menu a few years back. This is a Thanksgiving classic served year-round, made with artisan bread, turkey, cornbread stuffing, gravy, cranberry sauce, and mayo. There's a lot going on in this one, but that's not a bad thing. You just have to be cool with your Thanksgiving sides and main courses getting all combined into one toasty sandwich. The cranberry in this is super powerful and almost threatens to overpower the other savory ingredients, but I still think the stuffing, gravy, and mayo are able to hold their own just fine. If you're big on textures, the stuffing can be kind of weird in the middle of this sandwich, but I'd also be sad if it were missing because it really does add a unique element to this entree that screams parades and football and family gatherings. Now, this is something we get asked for a lot here at DFB, and that's the best plant-based items. You know we're eating all of them, so let's gather some great ones together. Whether your diet is strictly plant-based or you just really love plant-based items, I've got some solid dishes and snacks you need to try the next time you're in Disney World. Now, we know we've seen lots of changes over there at Columbia Harbor House, and there are a few extra dishes on the menu now, like the plant-based crispy mushroom roll that actually really surprised us in a great way. This sandwich is made with cornmeal fried mushrooms, plant-based spicy tartar sauce, lettuce, tomatoes, and a pickle. The fried mushrooms have a similar texture to fried oysters, and the fresh tomatoes and lettuce pair very well. The whole sandwich gives us a Louisiana-style po' boy vibe that when you add that spicy tartar sauce into the mix, This is going to be right up your alley. Over at Epcot in the newish Shikisai restaurant, the vegetable nabayaki udon won us over quickly. In fact, it's actually one of our favorite things to pick up at this newish location. This entree is a hot pot style udon soup with mushrooms, yuba, and spinach. The broth is what really makes this dish though, since it flavors the other ingredients to make them salty and savory and all around just elevated. There are a few different kinds of mushrooms featured in this udon, which our team enjoyed for the various earthy flavors and textures. But if you're not a mushroom fan, you may want to choose one of the other udon options from this table service instead. Okay, let's step away from the mushrooms for a minute and give you something with more tofu. Over at Backlot Express in Hollywood Studios, there's a teriyaki tofu bowl with your name on it. This is made with seasoned jasmine rice, marinated tofu, yuzu pickled edamame, carrots, cucumber, and onions, and it's all drizzled with house-made lemon, tahini, chipotle vinaigrette, and sesame seeds. I know, there's a lot going on here. It's a lot like a vegan poke bowl with fresh veggies, slightly sweetened sticky rice, and a nice bright vinaigrette. Now, honestly, guys, Hollywood Studios might not always be known for its stellar food options, but it's actually a pretty solid place to find some tasty plant-based eats. Along with the teriyaki tofu bowl, we've also enjoyed plant-based items here like the Zuki wrap from Ronto Roasters, the plant-based lobster roll made with heart of palm instead of actual lobster at Rosie's All-American Cafe, and the Impossible nachos from Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater made with fried tortilla chips topped with plant-based black bean chili, avocado cream, pico de gallo, and cilantro. Okay, I either A, have to get working on dinner stat, or B, book a flight to Disney World right now because this video is making me hungry. So I'm going to wrap up for now, knowing good and well that there are still so many other wonderful eats all over Disney World that I still need to tell you about. But I guess that's why we'll have to make another food video really, really soon. So stay tuned and don't forget to download our free Disney World Best Snack Guide over at disneyfoodblog.com/bestsnacks. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.